Inconsistencies, missing translation, huge JSON files. Welcome to localization. Sure, writing text in HTML or JS6 is easier, but if you want multiple languages, it's not gonna work. The good news is, in today's video, we're gonna dig deeper on some of those problems, and I'll show you some potential solutions, with one of them being particularly smart. Let's get started. Usually the most common solution is to have some JSON files, one or many for each language, where you can define a key value approach. In your HTML, you will find the string hello, written with some functions, and it will convert in hello world in your browser. And also, you can even pass some parameters. For example, here I will pass name, I will show you how, and it will render my name. You can see here the outcome. So I see hello world and my name is Leonardo, which is basically using these two strings. But how? Well, this is a React project, and I think the most common approach is by using React i18 Next. This library lets you get a hook called useTranslation, which gives you the function. Here, if you call t with a key, which is actually the key you can find here, you notice that here I've written hello, which converts to hello world, and presentation, with obviously passing the parameter, which converts to my name is my name. You see here you can also change language, and again it's really straightforward. You can grab this object from, again, useTranslation and just call change language. So here in the browser, if I press this button, you can see that the strings are changing their values. This is one of the quickest and easiest way to deal with multiple languages, but it comes with some drawbacks. The following are some of the pain points I've experienced personally and how I try to solve them. In small teams, this is still manageable. Oftentimes it's the front-end developer that has to deal with the translations, and it's not a big deal to update the keys and the values when something changes. However, in large projects, there might be some dedicated team dealing with the localization, and the situation might be slightly different. In particular, if they're not developers or they do not have access to the code. Sure, you can send around JSON files to get it translated, but the other person is likely missing some context, and it's not easy to understand where the text is used. What if it was possible to edit the text directly on the website? Let me show you a thing. Just head over a website you like and press F12. This will open the console, and here you can type document.designMode. Here you see the preview is off. Let me make it bigger. And here, if you switch this to on, nothing changed. Well, you can find here that I can type, and you can basically write text anywhere in the page pinned repositories. So this is kind of a magic trick which lets you change everything you want in the browser, but obviously it's only happening here on your browser, and clearly this is not being saved anywhere in the code. The good news is that there are some tools out there, for example one I'm gonna show you in a moment, that, well, lets you do what you just seen but with real translations. For example, here I can say my name is name, passing the parameter, and I like chess. And if I update the string will be translated for everyone in the localization file. Here again, if I can change the language, I can refresh the page, and this stays in the browser for everyone. The great news is that if you have a localization team, they can just head over your website and have all the context they need in order to give you the proper localization. Using it in VS Code is super easy, a lot similar to the example we just saw. There's this init function where basically you use the API keys, because this is in the cloud, and well, the rest is pretty much similar to the React library. You can change language, you can use this element here so that you can pass the key name, the params, and that's basically it. Really cool, right? Going back to JSON file, one thing I noticed is that every time I'm here and I'm adding a new key, I never know if the key is actually added in all other languages. One thing I like to do is usually grab the English translation, which I try to keep as the source of truth, put those side by side, and here I can try to see if the line numbers match, but it's not really a solid solution. In fact, one of the cool things of using tools like Tolgee is that every time you change something here, it's not in a huge JSON, but it's actually here on the dashboard. You can find, for example, that I just changed the English version of presentation, and here it's easy to spot that the Italian version needs to be updated. And also using a UI lets you have, for example, filterings. So here I can immediately spot that there's an outdated translation. I can update it to match the base version, also by using some additional help like machine translation. The third biggest issue I found when translating apps is that you might find yourself having some strings on the front end and some strings on the backend. So what can you do? I identified 3 common patterns that are: 1, having everything on the front end. It is basically the example we just saw, where you have all those JSON files in the front end, but how can you do if the backend has to send you a message? Well, in this case, the backend can just send you the key of the text so that you can basically look up in your JSON file, and in fact, the frontend is translating the text. The opposite solution is everything on the backend. Every time the app starts, it just asks the backend to get all the translations and all the keys, so that every time you want something translated, the backend already knows the right text, and the frontend has all the keys in case there's something else to localize. A third approach could be using an entire external service for all localization. Instead of having the keys in your backend that are in your code where the logic is, you have an entirely dedicated service only for text and translations, allowing you more flexibility, again, in case it's not a developer writing the text, as it should not be, but it's a dedicated team dealing only with text and not with the code. There are quite some tools that can help you out with that, but it's important to understand the need of your project and choose the right tool for the right problem. With that said, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments if you had some other problems with localization. I'm really curious. And with that said, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!